Uh, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da, bum,
I
ba-da-dum,
could really
bum,
go for a burger right now.
da, da. They could have burgers. They could. They're in England.
Were they invented
Hamburg.
yet in like 1492 or whatever?
In 1492, a man invented burgers.
Oh, locum. Wait, you mean me? Of course. Is there another locum here? Is there even one?
Compared to the original locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, at last, I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
I mean, yeah, he's not going to jail. Would it be so hard to just say that then? Locum, you did it. You saved me from the brink. Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that. Lovely, loyal, locum lawyer. Yes? I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback.
Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
But today, you, locum lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born." That was a lot of alliteration.
Yeah. Also, when the case is over, I got two things to say.
Well, that's very flattering, and I'm very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is it that what's to become of all my hard work?
Who's this? There you are, my dear fellows. Haha, ha! I knew it. Hoo-ha! I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
I did say yours. I missed that.
Oh, I see. I'm here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck.
It's just finished.
What? No! Then my haste was in vain!
Ugh, it's you, Herlock Sholmes.
Every time he said that. Hua! Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume. The man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounter have taken place in the gloom, either your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light.
Charming. This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind.
Gets arrested immediately after being told innocent. My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor old lady and ran off, are you not? Had you been taken to the hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now.
Oh,
But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience.
I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Oh, interesting, Shady. Shady said earliest reference to burgers are from a cookbook in 1758, apparently.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to say.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he also said, give you a piece of my mind, then immediately does the Kamehameha pose. Let's not do that, sir.
Kit. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir?
Nothing.
Priceless. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, really, but that was quite priceless.
Poor Suseki-san.
Still, on the bright side, you've had extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you're not even found guilty.
But there is no bright side.
Oh, because of the Reaper of the Bailey. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper. Ah, Lord Van Zeeks. I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means.
What was Van Zeek's first name?
Even-
Baron?
Baroque.
Baroque.
Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed.
It will all be alright, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears, trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hiya!
Thanks. The perfectly
The
executed
perfectly
suicide-
executed. Oh.
Yeah, it makes more sense you say it.
I mean, Ryunosuke really wants to say my lines. With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
Sorry, I was disoriented on account of being upside down.
All is forgiven.
Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato.
I miss that. I truly do.
So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now?
But that was Maya's theme, wasn't it? It wasn't the end of the case theme.
I'm not sure if it was her theme or not. It wasn't End of Case. They played other times. I think it might have been her theme. You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh,
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. Apparently he has been allowed in libraries.
Why does he buy all his books?
I mean, I don't think you could borrow books from libraries back then. I think you had to use them within the confines. Plus, he probably liked to, own them and write notes in them, and...
I guess so. I feel like...
He's
if
a
my
nerd.
options were to live in a dingy apartment with no outside lighting, barely eating, or read in a cozy library, I would just read in a cozy library. And if I liked the book, then I would buy it. Which, to be fair, he might already be doing that. He might just read so voraciously that he is, buying the books he likes. Either way, we established that libraries were canon.
Of course, library. Oh my god. Okay. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here in the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
Very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, You wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all. The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Saseki-san. Could be an interesting read.
And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry, what about us?
Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot?
Why would we?
So funny.
What?
It's like, yeah, we spent months on this boat to get to England to be here for a week.
Not a week, we've been here for like 3 or 4 days.
Well, yeah, could you imagine, though? I'm saying, it's like, yeah, like even then, yeah.
3 days.
Just came for the weekend. A week has not passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we finally found our feet.
And you're accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? Oh, this is you. That was you. You say it.
Stealing my lines.
You're not reading it. Read.
And you're accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right. We need to find lodging before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room. But what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls. Great.
Really nice of him, though.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
That's not as nice. Oh my, an evil spirit?
Oh, yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call.
Oh, so that's still nice.
We'll think about it, if that's alright.
Because, like, I think what he meant to say in the Japanese is probably a yokai, and not all yokai are bad. And I think they just translated yokai as evil spirit.
But he's talked numerous times about trying to suffocate him, so...
Well, yeah, but, like, some yokai could be helpful, and I think he considers being suffocated awake a wake-up call, like a positive thing.
No, he said he doesn't like it.
Oh, fair. Perhaps I can offer you a more welcoming alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? Really? Susano's already, like, has all her bags packed. She's like, we better get going.
I call Sholmes' room.
But a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it's up at the editor, may I add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of.
Oops, I'm trying to compare our camera.
Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take in lodgings at the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words.
So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then.
Susano's like already. She's like, oh, I can have tea here, and I can have snacks here, and I could just, oh. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this. They even get dinner? And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. This is a good deal.
Have you never had dinner?
Well, they're inviting them to dinner. That's really nice.
I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes.
I feel like in a world full of...
Shady said, and she can have Herlock there.
Yeah. That's fair. No, that was the best joke. Well then, then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long.
Somebody's happy.
I'd be pumped. And I barely like Herlock as a person.
Locum. I thought you loved Herlock.
Oh no, I like him as a character, but like I don't think I'd like him very much if he like existed and I had to interact with him to any meaningful capacity.
Dang, I was thinking of being him.
You're just gonna become a Herlock.
Just change my personality.
I'm surrounding my entire being around being weirdly inaccurate with my deductions.
And being found in very weird positions and places.
I mean, you can still do that. I'd find that funny.
I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too.
It'd have been so nice if you stayed and then they could be friends.
It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan, but Locum will meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Aww.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful detective.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful detective. Wait, what? Career plans, let's go! Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived.
Shady said, girl knows what she wants. You get it, Susato.
Hopefully by then, I would have revived from the dead.
Shady, who are you saying hopefully by then I won't be dead for?
Kazuma. That was the joke that I was doing too. Necromancy, coming back. They'll figure it out.
Shalms.
Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, Mr. Shams.
I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And then he died.
And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Shams to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. Or as Inheritance says, 22B Baker Street.
221B Baker Street is the correct pronunciation. Oh, real quick, like what I want to say. The thing about this is the hamburgers, but the other thing is, oh, I forgot. It was about something we talked about before, last case, last stream. I'll think about it.
I didn't remember last stream happening.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I can't believe
my memory doesn't go back that far. So this
is to be our new office. Yes.
Our office. I really like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
The horsepower arms weren't from last stream, Shady.
Yeah, they were.
2 streams ago.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So you don't remember last stream, but you remember 2 streams ago?
Yeah. I always leave a blank in the previous week, but then I can remember everything before that.
So next week you'll remember what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I won't remember this conversation. So I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step. But I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to a dream now.
So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Oh,
Mr. Shams. Yes, thank you so much.
Handsome. It's a delightful room, Mr. Shams. I simply adore it.
He looks like a different person with those.
He really does. He looks. Oh no, he's hot. Like it's like Squidward. Like that's literally what I first thought. But I'm trying to be a human being.
Too late.
But no, I can see people like really getting into this character design. The other one, maybe not so much. Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. Well, we'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives, and we have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must help me help you. You must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid. This is going to be terrible.
Does she know what a salad is?
Miss Naruto, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital?
It's very exciting, actually. Can't help wondering what adventures await us.
Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is.
Sorry?
London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights cast the brightest in the darkest of shadows. I knew it!
Shadows? What do you mean?
I am Sholmes, incarnate. Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind the London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruto. Oh. Welcome to London.
Why'd you say it so sinisterly?
Because I think that was the vibe. Because he was talking about how there's like a seedy underbelly. Listen, I'm a good voice actor. I try.
I don't think he was meaning to be sinister about it, but okay.
Everybody in the chat, put it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button.
Everybody,
tell me.
In the comments below, type 1 if you agree with me, and 2 if you disagree with inheritance.
Well, actually, for the algorithm, they need to write complex interactions. So just type an entire...
Type a lot of 1s and 2s.
That's actually funnier, yeah. Type a lot of 1s and 2s.
Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came. To lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay beneath it. Too bad, Shady. He's wrong. Achievement unlocked. Landed in London.
Landed in London 3 days later. The Hound of Baskervilles?
No, The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story.
The Hounds of Baskervilles is the unspeakable story? Hound it was, but not a hound as any mortal has seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering gaze.
Coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us.
It's coming!
Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistols.
It's only funny to me.
And I waited breathlessly in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical Hound of the Baskervilles."
Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. And that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country, and into Seki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in a little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. 15th of April! Skip ahead a couple months. Knock, knock, knock.
Oh, they got a Daruma doll.
He's talked about his Daruma doll. His lucky Daruma doll. When they talked about the lucky cat that Seki had.
Oh.
That morning, I was woken up by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. Shady says Kazuma sends his regards. But after he'd gone, Suzato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Suzato-san.
Yes! Time for leave for court already. Let me see, what case is it today?
I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I?
Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me.
But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. Shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite?
Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food.
She does, doesn't she?
Once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see, what case is it today?
Here we go again. Like they haven't had a case in 2 months, and they had like 2 cases. How is she like confused like this? So examine or converse? Examine.
Let's examine the Daruma doll.
Hey, it's Daruma. Ah, the Daruma doll I brought with me from home, still with only one eye colored in.
Do you remember why?
I said I'd color the other eye once I won my first court case here in Britain, but
Remember, you color one eye in when you make the wish, and then you color the second one when the wish is fulfilled.
I didn't know that.
I said it last time.
I don't remember last time.
You only exclusively remember things that happened 2 weeks ago.
And only 2
fun.
weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I don't remember either.
Yeah, you just swipe it at that point. But you have won, haven't you? Twice, in fact.
Because I feel as though I'm still lacking as a lawyer. I tell you what, why don't you color the other eye in once you think I'm a proper, fully fledged lawyer?
Do you insist?
Okay. We've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already.
You could tidy up once in a while.
Suzato-san, I always say, making a mess is a small sacrifice to pay for being able to further your studies. And time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same cause.
And time on ridiculous arguments is time that you could have been better spent doing some simple housework.
She wins, but I'm supposed to be the lawyer here. It's spring at last, and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle.
Oh, would you like some tea, Mr. Naruhodo-san?
Thank you, Suzato-san, but I'm alright for now.
So they're speaking Japanese.
While they're alone.
Yeah.
With the green tea Suzato-san made me from time to time and Iris's unique herbal infusions, this place is paradise for a true tea lover.
Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think?
I don't think.
Huh.
That spade has been in here since we started renting the place.
That's not a spade, Naruhodo-san. It's a shovel.
No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
Oh, I get it. I get it. This is a stepladder joke. This is the proto stepladder. Ha. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel.
I don't want to dig a hole for myself, so let's leave it.
Why? What is the obsession with this game company to make like it's barely funny? Like at this point,
That's hilarious.
It's funny because they say it all the time.
So this is a tea set that Suzato-san brought with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter.
Tea is a drink to be enjoyed, Naruhodo-san. You really don't have to force yourself to drink it, you know. If you don't like... I don't like to see you screw your face up, so...
This must be the telegram. Let's see. Didn't catch that.
Ah!
Ow.
No, you must look at that. Not under any circumstances.
Alright, I won't.
I'm sorry, Naruto-san, but you can be very mischievous at times.
Then put the telegram away if you don't want people looking at it. Do you know, I've never seen inside your room there, Suzaru-san. I've never even peeped inside.
I should think so, too. The young lady's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know?
Whatever you say, young maiden. We're rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind here. The prawns we put in there are doing rather well, and the anemones too.
Wonderful invention, isn't it? The sea behind glass, inside your room. Another example of Great Britain's greatness.
Having to clean it out and change the water isn't so great though, is it? Wait until they invent filters. I mean, you still have to occasionally clean it. Just less often. Okay, looks like that's everything. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean.
Oh, a telegram?
Oh no! Oh, mic came unplugged.
The dog ripped it off. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, but you're not going to get away with that.
Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's, nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. Ahem. It's just a boring old telegram.
That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing.
I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point.
Alright, I understand. I suppose Saseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he?
Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away.
A fortnight ago we'd had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, seems the voyage has been going well.
Something wrong, Naruto-san?
I was just wondering what might have become of Saseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all.
You mean, as regards Lord Van Zieks, the Reaper?
Yes, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be safe from the Reaper, right? Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London.
Even 2 months ago, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery.
Yes, but at least Saseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means...
That the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps?
Even if that's the case, it's a little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding.
If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields a sort of justice himself.
Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants.
No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Van Zieks has appeared in court once since our last encounter.
Oh?
Yes, since the second trial, he has withdrawn from judicial services again, it seems.
Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been me who he's had to face in his recent spate of trials then. Just my luck.
Wonder if luck doesn't come into it.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
Okay. Move then.
Let's go.
To Sholmez's suite.
Shomez. Morning, Reno. Morning, Susie.
Really great music.
Listen, I'm not going to say anything because I've wanted to learn how to play the violin, and if I can make this sound, I'd be very impressed with myself. Good morning, Iris.
Iris.
What is it, Reno?
What is that terrible noise? Sounds like a cat being strangled.
Ah, yes, you've noticed that, didn't you? Oh, handsome. Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. Oh, sad boy. Hello. Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Good morning.
A good morning to die, perhaps.
Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before.
My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Damn this blanched existence! That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Oh,
Oh look, it's Wagahai.
Wagahai!
Do you remember him?
Wagahai is Soseki Natsume's cat.
Yes. Also, since I assume you don't know the name.
Wagahai. Wagahai is like a thing, right? It's not like a name per se. It's like something you would say. It's like a statement.
Wagahai is actually from real life Soseki Natsume. From his story, I Am a Cat. It is a fictional pronoun that the cat uses for himself.
I feel like I knew that. I do genuinely feel like I knew that. Because I think actually, yeah, I think Morgana from Persona 5 uses Wagahai as his pronoun of choice because of Soseki Natsume's I Am a Cat. Because he can turn into a bus because of Totoro, well, because of the cat bus. Morgana's like a literal Japanese meme.
Makes sense.
And he does use Wagahai. I
Nice.
knew it.
Well, I learned something there too, then. But yeah, so the cat's name is Wagahai.
I love it. Good morning, boy. Who voices? You need to voice Wagahai. He's a boy.
He already has his own voice actor.
The only character who's fully voice acted is Wagahai. That's very rude.
You heard the meows.
I guess so.
Do you not recognize as Vin Diesel?
Oh, they must have blown their budget for that. Man,
I mean that and the few lines of Sholmes being Chris Pratt, obviously. The talent that everybody knows solely as Mario.
God, would it be funny, or would you think he'd be mad at me if I ever meet Vin Diesel to have him sign a framed photograph of Wagahai? Like, do you think he'd be like, what?
He'd probably be confused, but kind of laugh. Like he is a gamer. He's a nerd.
I don't know if he'd get the reference.
He wouldn't get the reference, I'm sure, because we just made it up. Unless he's watching the VOD of this.
Listen, Vin Diesel. Type in the comments if you're Vin Diesel. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification button.
That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use.
Vin Diesel is a tiny door for cats to use.
But how did it get there?
Also, Wagahai is a very special cat. Male calicos are very rare. Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris. It would indeed be a fine day to die.
I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk.
Oh, what happens to his analytrometer? Did he have to sell it?
Should we examine first?
I guess so.
Because of what happened before. The fire is burning comfortingly in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to Japanese hibachi somehow.
Ooh, look at a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting!
That's supposed to mean something to me. We got an achievement. The woman? Question mark.
Ellipses? Question mark. The woman.
I think that's all the clarification we're gonna get.
The woman.
It looks like that huge metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. Seems very sturdy with an equally sturdy lock.
That's what they say about me. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. I always have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous.
How did you come to that conclusion? These are all mementos of Mr. Sholmes' past cases, I think. If he'd been involved in my case, I wonder if the beef steak from La Carnival would be on display here.
A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. Ah, what an entrancing collection!
It looks like the entirety assortment are drunk to me rather than what's on my own shelves. Rather than what's on my own shelves.
You really ought to learn to keep your things in order, Mr. Naruhodo.
No favoritism there at all.
Are the glasses supposed to be Soseki? No, because nobody had glasses in that case.
No, I don't think it puts ones from cases we've done.
Oh.
I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Oh, what? No, I clicked a... There's all sorts on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high, I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment.
Such a charmingly untidy collection of paraphernalia, isn't it?
It just looks messy to me, like my desk.
But you, Mrs. Naruhodo, must learn to tidy up after yourself.
No favoritism there, then. There we go. Look at Mr. Sholmes' desk, it's completely clear. Isn't there an enormous machine usually on it?
We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite.
That's scarily plausible, actually.
It's like, oh, I moved. Don't worry about me.
That's a charming little white shelf, and full of charming little bottles too. But the contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems.
This is the future, Mr. Naruhodo. You can't deny it. I'm saving my money so I can buy some chemistry apparatus as well.
Law, chemistry, takedown throws. What diverse skills you boast, Mr. Zato.
As useful as they are, I'm not sure that my throwing skills are worthy of inclusion in that list.
This is where Iris notes down ideas, isn't it? Let's see. What does it say today? Ah, the Boscombe Valley mystery.
Ooh, how intriguing! It must be the title of Iris's latest work. Oh my, it's wonderful what fantastic tale awaits us.
Sada-san looks like an angel, but I bet she's dreaming of the most unsavory crime you could imagine. Iris's beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of one of her special herbal blends always helps me to relax when I'm feeling the strain.
The English pastime of tea has many similarities with our own tea ceremony customs, don't you think? It's the idea of hospitality behind it. That's the essence of tea.
I guess. Sure. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. But there's paper already set up in the typewriter, look, as if she's about to start.
It reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed.
Yes, Mr. Natsume.
That's what I'll be doing too, once I'm back in Japan, he said through tightly clenched fists and teeth.
Okay. Oh, I guess I could examine this thing. Oh. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled in his new home then.
Yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy. It would appear as his previous owners completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures, their muse as empty as the heart of the muses. If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
I expect he would have taken him if he could. But pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of the passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Wacky is adorable.
Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from?
You notice, you're observant, Runo. Look, I use this. It's my latest invention.
What is that?
I call it the Cat Flappomat. Gosh, a machine for making dolls just for cats. That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see.
Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. So do I. I think that's pretty neat. You must make one for us in the door in our other offices upstairs, Iris.
She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl.
Hey.
Okay, well I guess we're talking to the man himself about wanting to die.
Womp womp.
You seem to be very unhappy this moment, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened?
It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its melissonant tones would make flowers bloom.
It would.
But now the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over. Whatever you mean, Mr. Sholmes? For hours I've bowed. I think it's bowed because it's a violin. The bow, so you bow.
Probably.
But if it's not referring to the violin, that'd be bowed. But for hours I've bowed, for days even. Through the night I've endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, it's lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone, gone forever. No more recitals of unbridled... Oh, wait. No more recitals of unbridled emotion! Yeah, a little kick to that one. A little spice. Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Harley?
Don't worry, I'm sure they'll come back to you in time.
Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next day unmercifully withdraw it.
Oh dear.
Oh, why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left for pity's sake? What is left?
Deduction perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for?
Miss Jones, I don't like to pry, but... your desk looks rather empty today. Ah, well done, Mrs. Nato. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh no, Mr. Sholmes, they pale into insignificance when compared to yours.
You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you?
You mean Halley's great analytoscope? It's at Windibank's now.
Sorry? It's at a windy bank?
No, it's Windibank's, the pawnbroker. The pawnbrokery. Pawn... what?
You mean you've pawned that enormous machine of yours?
It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly. But is it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you've consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I would have gladly passed along what little income I have to you. Dear madam, things are far from desperate. But the pawnbrokery has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate? Making use of pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you.
It is. Doesn't sound ordinary at all.
It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works.
Oh, what's to understand exactly? What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works?
To the people of London, pawnbrokers are akin to banks. Banks? On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily throughout the week. And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially the people in inner London. And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious! So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windybanks, you see? Pawnbrokery can be thought as an extremely secure vault.
Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain?
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pauses things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley? What does it matter? The world is dead to me now.
Shady's until it's not, which is soon.
Oh, what was that?
Wagahai?
Hmm? That sounded bad. What was that? Oh no! My guy's tangled up in your violin! I think he thinks it's a toy!
No, what's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Shiv's precious violin! Why should I care?
What?
I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I now. Mr. Jones really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I, Hurley?
How did the cat reach, if possible? Maybe we should assess the damage.
Let's assess the damage! Oh, it looks fine.
So this is the violin, is it? I see a string that's sprung.
To Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari.
Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me.
I happened upon it, covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings.
How honourable of you.
And until today, it had been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I've made. I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music, to tolerate this blank existence? No! There is none! Mr. Sholmes? What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with the fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think?
What do you mean, Mr. Zada?
Oh, Susie's right. Yes, the tone of the wood is completely different. And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before.
Wait, it's not even the right size, is it?
What's this? I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola. What? What? Oh, Mr. Shemsey, you're right. You're right. You're quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what? Pray, it's this piece of string flotsam.
Not your faithful performing partner, then?
Ah, I see what must have happened.
I love how he didn't notice the entire time that he was holding an entirely different instrument to the one he's used to playing.
So he pawned off the violin, forgot that he pawned it, and then
You
they
do,
gave him
Iris.
the viola instead. This is just a simple mix-up.
Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her.
Oh, Iris is themed.
Oops.
Bum, 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 bum,
Is she
bum,
over
bum,
here?
bum, bum.
Yeah.
It's a very polka little ditty.
That's bubblegummy. What do you mean by mix-up, Iris?
Well, you see, this violin, this viola, I mean, was at Windybank's until last week. At the pawnbroker's.
Now Mr. Sean's beloved musical partner.
There's a proverb from the East with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel. Yes, indeed.
So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth.
Oh, what a wonderful idea. Last week I pounded my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windbanks mistakenly furnished me with a tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber.
I mean... No, but you're every sense to see by the fact that it just had strings.
That was good though. Timber of the timber. Pshaw!
Yeah, he's
fine
clever occasionally.
A fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time. Get it? Fiddle? It's another pun. But earlier you told us that a pawnbroker... But earlier you told us you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault. Mr. Naruto, dilly-dally will get you nowhere.
Sorry?
Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, pressing your coffee so obtusely. Wah, are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency which we are faced? We must visit Mr. Windyback's brokery at once, that's right. Isn't it, Mr. Sholmes? Precisely, Mr. Zato. Without a moment's delay.
But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs.
My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to fresh your eggs ever more obtusely.
Alright, say no more, let's go then. Oh, I hope that inheritance is okay. Okay.
I'm good. I'm back. Don't worry, Reno. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like. Reheated eggs and bacon sounds nasty, though.
Kinda does.
Like bacon, I guess you could maybe kind of do. Eggs you can't reheat.
It depends on how you take your eggs, and you like your eggs runny, don't you?
I mean, no, I'll eat eggs in all different ways, but I can't, like, scrambled, I guess, maybe, but even then. Like, just make new eggs. Eggs are cheap. I don't even think that's, like, a first world problem, or statement kind of thing, like... Where are we going?
Might as well go to the pawnbrokery.